Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Tony. So my daughter, and if I get emotional, it's because I'm so passionate about my story. My daughter passed away when she was 3 from pediatric cancer. And after she passed away for a couple of years, I was really struggling with that connection because after the year mark, the more time that went by, the further I felt like I was getting away from her. So I took your workshop, and I had been taking a lot of personal growth workshops, but I finally connected with her through your workshop. And I know it was because of the energy, because I was in my peak state, and I heard what you had to say. And let me tell you what you said. You said, make your worst day your best day. And then I can't remember what you said after that. And I had no idea what was going to happen if I did that, but I was determined to do that. And so I relived the day my daughter died over and over. And what I came to realize was it's my greatest achievement to date. It's the day I am most proud of in my life so far. I had the courage to help my daughter die peacefully at home when I didn't think I had anything left. And she brought me that courage, and my wonderful hospice team gave me a priceless gift that I could never get anywhere else, because they gave me that moment to really just be with her and feel like a sense of achievement. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. I've been in the military 20 years, and nothing compares to the moment that I was able to help her die peacefully at my house. And I realized that day is my greatest gift. And I'm so grateful for that day. And it's really led me to a life of gratitude, and it really transformed my world. And I didn't even know what you meant by that. But when I processed it, that's what came out. Wow. And so much happened since then that I can't even explain how thankful I am. People, when I would tell my story, people would often say to me, I can't imagine anything worse than losing a child. So that's my trigger, right? And I didn't have a good answer. I didn't have any answer. I made up things. I stumbled through the answers, but nothing good. And I took your workshop, and I came up with what I was going to say to the next person that said that to me. And I was going to tell them that if my oldest daughter had never come into our lives for 3 years and 17 days, that would be worse. That'd be worse than losing a child. I'll never give up. I'll never give up the joy that I had with her. So I also think what would be worse is if I didn't live my life to the fullest after she died. So that's why I'm here. I'm living my life to the fullest with my daughters. I'm enjoying every moment. I'm creating purpose, helping other people go from grief to gratitude, and they're passing on the message. And I think that's where it becomes worth it. You said to us, Tony, you said, when people hold on to pain, people will hold on to pain till they find something they value more
than the pain, right?
And I value my family and raising my daughters right now more than I value a life of pain because of my daughter.
Beautiful soul.
And I'm so grateful.
Christina, you inspire us all. When did you go? Was Unleash the Power of the Wind? How many years ago was this? When did this happen?
Actually, I did it during COVID, and I was activated with the military, and I wouldn't have been able to attend anyway. But I was so grateful that you offered a virtual Unleash the Power Within. I shared all of my revelations with my military unit, and I felt so good after that. And I've continued to be part of your community. And I have an endless amount of gratitude for you and what you've brought to my life. And I've created a new purpose, and I'm really grateful. This is my daughter. Her smile is priceless to me. And I'll always think about the time that I got.
Did I hear you have other daughters alive today?
We did. We adopted a daughter after my daughter passed away. So I have a 5 and a 7-year-old.
Beautiful.
And I live for every moment with her. And I never think about the time I didn't get. I only think about all of the smiles that I got in those 3 years and how she's changed my life forever.
I think there's probably no one watching that hasn't had tears, or at least a deep emotion listening to you, because I think any of us imagine losing our child is beyond imagination. And your courage and your faith and your ability to take control of your mind, that experience you're talking about for me was when I was feeding people years later, and I was, I showed up the first time to feed a family, and I was wearing a T-shirt and jeans. I didn't want to know I was the giver, but I wanted to see the faces of the people. I wanted to give back. And I remember there were 4 children there, but this woman who didn't speak English, and it's an experience I'll never get as long as I live. But when I left, I was crying uncontrollably. And I was like, why am I crying? It's such a beautiful experience. Because I found out this woman, after the fact, husband had left her 3 days before Thanksgiving with no money and no food. So it was like God just perfectly put me in that situation. I thought, I'm crying grace tears because I realized my worst day, my father leaving to me was the worst day of my life, was the best day. Because if he hadn't, would I really be here? Would I really care as much? So it's like life is always happening for us. It doesn't look like it often. Sometimes it looks like the worst situation, but it's our responsibility to find the good in it, and not phony good, but real good. And this child that is now your baby girl now is getting all this love as well. I can't compliment you enough. I feel privileged to meet you. I want you to come to my Date with Destiny as my guest, just because I just want to give back to you. I know you'll pass it on to others. So stay on the line with my team, and we'll make sure you come there. Give her a beautiful hand, gorgeous hand, beautiful.